Hi there, welcome to the Journals of the Information Entrepreneur. I'm Jacqueline Stockwell, CEO and founder at Leadership Through Data. I lead global information management training and consultancy, making learning engaging and fun for all information leaders. My presentation styles equip leaders with delivering captivating content and incorporating behavioural psychology. Right now, I am transforming e-learning into exciting growth opportunities by blending creative leadership with proactive information management. And I'm always focusing on security and compliance for business success, all while promoting learning and innovation. And I am so excited to kick off this second part of the series, Behind the Role, with Georgina Lee today. So welcome, Georgina. Thank you so much for joining me. So, Georgina, tell me about you. Who is Georgina Lee?
Oh, I do know how to answer that question. So, hi, thank you very much for having me. It's an honour to be asked. So, yes, I'm Georgina Lee. I am currently an Information Governance Audit Manager at a company called Treat and MD. So I deal with all things related to record management, or internal audits, and I am the data protection officer for the organisation.
Beautiful.
Yeah. That's me in a little bracket.
That's your little bracket. And outside work. Tell me more about what you do outside work. Do you have any hobbies?
So outside work, I am a mother of 2 boys and a dog. I live with them 3 and my husband. Yes, I have hobbies. I currently play softball cricket for a new team we set up in our village back in June, which is awesome. I'm having a little rest at the moment because I have issues with a nerve somewhere in my back, so which is devastating because I really want to go whack some balls. I'm also now a qualified level 1 cricket coach, so hopefully in the next year we'll be starting a junior side back in our village, which will be awesome. I don't really have any other hobbies. I'm trying to find some new hobbies. I want to start doing some new things. So I'm hoping, when my back's better, to start doing adult ballet again. Well, not again, but adult ballet. So I used to do it as a child, and I still love ballet. So I'm going to attempt to do that. And I've also decided, while my back's hurting, I want to start something different. So I want to start knitting.
Nice.
Amazon have got some Black Fridays on with some knitting sets, so I've sent them to my husband.
I love that. I love that. I could never get on with knitting. For me, it's like sewing. But it's really good. Apparently, it's very therapeutic when you sit and watch the TV and you kind of knit. Yeah.
It'll keep my eyes away from screens, hopefully, so I won't be scrolling through reels when I'm bored.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Get me needles out instead.
And I love that adult ballet because you put out on LinkedIn for any suggestions.
I did, yes.
Yeah. So did you get any other good suggestions on LinkedIn?
Well, you told me, I think, was it to swim the channel?
Yeah, I did swim the channel. Yeah.
No, I can't. I'm not a strong swimmer. I get scared when I can't touch the floor.
Yep.
So
Fair enough.
that good. But it would be good. I did used to do. I used to go out running, so I lost a lot of weight, and then I started to do the couch to 5K.
Nice.
So I managed to do that until I hurt my toe. I broke my toe on coming down the stairs. I stopped doing that for a bit. Then I went back out and then had a car accident, so I stopped again and haven't really been out since. That was 2019, I think.
Oh my goodness.
I do walk a lot though with my dog, which is really good. It kind of clears my mind as well, especially during the day. So if everything gets a bit on top, or a bit stressful, I'll just take my dinner and go on a walk with the dog. Sometimes I'll put a podcast on, or just some music, and just have a chill.
Amazing. So you're setting that time for yourself because you've got so much going on. It was going to be one of my next questions because you're also the RMS North Chair. And alongside all of what we've just been talking about, you've got other things. So like, how do you balance your role, your home life, and your own well-being?
Good question. A lot of it, I start my day kind of thinking, what do I need to do today? I use my personal calendar on my phone with reminders in, especially for the children's things, because they do a lot of stuff as well. They both play cricket. My eldest is currently doing his GCSE stuff, so he's doing his mocks. I need to make sure I know where he is because he does extra lessons, revision and different things. The schools this time of year especially have all Christmas things on, so I need to be aware of all that.
Yeah.
So my phone is full of reminders and what's happening every day. I use obviously my work calendar as well to put both together sometimes, but to also try and plan out my day.
Yeah.
So I'll block off sections and make sure I label what section that's for. And then at the end of the day, I'll just review what I've done, or sometimes the week, what have I done? Have I completed what I needed to? Obviously, things change every day, so new priorities may come in, so things may fall down the list, and just make sure whatever hasn't been completed is on the to-do list for the next time. Make sure it's in. So it's a lot of lists I have, a lot of calendars, but I always try and factor in time for like me in there, or to be with my family. So there'll be nights where we do board game nights, so I make sure everything's switched off at a certain time so we can go and have that family time. On a Friday, I make sure I'm not going past certain times so we can go out and start the weekend, so I'm not worried about work all the time. So it's really important to do that, and I will still, my work's really good, we are quite flexible, so I'm still able to do the other things as well. So I am still able to go and pick the kids up from, well, my youngest up from school, drop them off, attend parents' evenings, activities and different things, and then work a bit later if I need to when they're settled and ready for bed or anything like that. It's just kind of putting all together helps a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I heard a quote yesterday. I'm going to read it to you. It's from Nike. So it says,
Yeah.
"You don't lack time, you lack priorities."
I read
What?
that actually. I
Yeah.
do like, yes, yeah, I did read that. I do love that quote.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
great because
it really
actually, if you prioritise, I mean, you've talked about all the massive things you do, from mum to the RMS to like working to being a wife to walking the dog and your self-care, and you can deliver all that because you're prioritising and you're planning. So,
yeah.
yeah,
And I've always, any job I do, I've always said my family comes first. My health and family come first. So my managers, bosses, all know that that is my main priority. Yes, work's important, but if anything happens in my life where my family need me, that is my priority.
yeah,
So I always say that from without. So it's that's how life is. You work for life, really, don't
you
you?
work for
So
life. Yeah,
yes,
and you work for family, and
work for
you
family.
want to
Yeah,
spend that time.
yes.
And
So
I think it's nice that employers can actually give the flexibility that you can do what you need to
definitely,
do, because without that flexibility, you can't be as flexible as what you've said
you
to
can't
make.
know. And I think companies having that flexibility helps with morale as well. Um, I, I I find my work life's a lot more easier than some people that I know that don't have that flexibility, and they feel run down, and I feel sometimes they feel a bit soul destroyed by their work because they can't have the flexibility I have. So I'm really grateful that I have that in my life, and I feel like more organisations should be a little bit more flexible where they can, when they can. I
Yeah,
know some can't.
yeah, and it's difficult as well because obviously some people aren't just made up to work, prioritise
No,
like you have. They
yeah,
like strict parameters and strict as well. So it's kind of
hmm,
identifying yourself as to how what works best for you, and see if
yeah,
you can adapt your lifestyle to get what you need.
yeah.
So when you go, I need to ask you what flavour, what make of dog do you have?
We have a Springer Spaniel, so he's just like having another child. I think he's worse actually. He's got more energy. It's more demanding.
And off lead, does he chase wild animals? Are you anywhere near wild animals that you can go?
He,
We,
one time we were out, I think it was about this time last year, I might have been a bit earlier, and we were walking, it was quite early in the morning, and he saw a rabbit, and he chased this rabbit, and this rabbit I felt so bad. I was trying to shout him come back, and he just, no, he wanted this rabbit. The rabbit stopped. He just looked at me like, what do I do?
yeah. And like, we've got a cockapoo and we live in the fields, so he's off lead. He's got quite good recall, but as soon as he sees an animal, he's off, like deer,
Yeah.
pheasant, whatever. And hares are his favourite. And he still to this day tries to chase after the hare, and you can see him chasing across this massive field. The hare is miles in front of it, and he's still going for it. And I just think, oh, bless you. And he had the same thing with the pheasant. So he'd run towards a pheasant, and this pheasant was kind of flapping around in front of him, and he stopped and looked at me and was like, what do I do now? I was like,
Yeah. My in-laws' dog, they have their dog goes out and shoots. So their dog will go after an animal and just get rid of that animal. I say I couldn't have that.
yeah,
I wouldn't know
no,
what to do.
no, indeed.
Um,
I wouldn't.
I'm quite glad he gets to the animals and go, what do I do now?
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't got the killer instinct to him. So.
No, unless it's a stick. Now, if it's a stick, we have other issues. I have some videos of him fighting with sticks. It's quite huge one. You know, you can see on like funny videos where they've got these gigantic sticks and the tiny little dogs. He's like that. He'll get the biggest stick he can and start fighting with it, and then try and walk with it and realise he can't because it hits the floor or hits a brick and can't move.
Yeah, or tries to get through a door with a stick in its mouth and can't get through because the stick's too long for the door frame.
Yeah, oh yeah. And he loves cardboard. He's obsessed with cardboard. Anything you've got, we've got some cardboard, and he'd be at your feet wanting some of the cardboard. And he knows when the cheese grater comes out.
Yeah.
He's right.
Oh God, yeah, my dog's obsessed with cheese as well. So, how do you? So you've said like walking the dog is important for you, and you need to look after yourself. Do you plan in time, or do you feel like during the day things are getting too much? You think, well, I'm going to go and walk the dog, an extra walk.
Yeah, I generally so I'll log on early in the morning, and get some bit of work done before all the getting ready for school and take the school for a walk. And when I'm taking my youngest to a school, which is in the same village, I will walk the dog up as well. And then I'll do like a bit of a detour back around, so go through some fields and things to come home. So that will start my kind of, yes, I've already logged on, but I've already had a little hectic morning. So that kind of clears my brain for the start of the day. And then I generally say, right, at dinner time, they'll go back out, but sometimes I end up working through dinner and having a slightly later dinner. So it depends how the day is going, what I've got on. Sometimes it will be just, I'm just going to go out for 5-10 minutes with the dog, go across, chuck the ball around, have a bit of fresh air, or I'll just take a longer dinner and just go for a whole half hour.
Nice.
So it depends what's happening, what work I'm currently doing. Do I need a bigger break than normal? And then I'll take them out again at the end of the day to have like a de-stress before the kids start.
Before new stresses come your way. Yeah, I always find when I'm getting to a creative standpoint or things have got too much. So we do exactly the same. Walk to school with the dog. But sometimes around lunchtime, I'm thinking, oh, I need to go out and sort of clear my head. So yeah, that's when, and that's most of the time when all the wildlife are out. So it's the best time to go really during the lunchtime.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it seems quiet. I thought it'd be busier at lunchtime, but it's quite quiet, so it's nice and chilled.
Nice. So I want to talk about comfort zones now. You mentioned that you wanted to go back to adult ballet. Well, obviously, we talked about you putting something out on LinkedIn. Like, what motivates you to push yourself outside your comfort zone?
I never used to push myself out of my comfort zone. It took me years to get confident enough, and I think that was not being confident in myself.
Okay.
to do that. I always used to kind of just get on with my works in the background, not really do much.
Yep.
Um, and I don't know if it's been a change in something at home or my family life or personal life that made me more confident. I know I lost lots of weight, which really helped. Um, my husband is really fantastic supporter and makes me just do what I want to do. But before
Beautiful.
him, I never had that. It was quite opposite. So I think he's really helped as well. And I'm always telling my children to do things that they're
Yeah.
not comfortable with. So if I'm telling them to do, I'm going to have to do it
Yep.
myself. So it's kind of that leadership thing. Do as you say. It's like, and if I don't do it myself, no one's going to do it for me. So you only have this one shot, so I may as well do what I want to do. Um, so I think that it's just getting that time to do these things. I see it all the time. I see other people do it. Oh, wouldn't that be good? And actually, why don't I just do it then? I can do it. Why don't I? So as I said, I've got a great husband who look after the obviously looks after the children as well, and gives me the time so I can actually go and do these things as well when I need to or want to, which is great. So it's just, I think it's telling people to do things. I need to go and do it myself as well. So that's helped
Yeah.
me myself.
And absolutely, I think it's around your character as well, but also when you become a mum, because I really relate to that because it's like, well, just go and do it. You know,
Yeah,
practice makes perfect. So we talk about
yeah,
effort and outcomes. So if you put the
yeah.
effort in, you get a great outcome.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Things like this podcast. If you asked me this about 2 years ago, I would have had any excuse to say no. I used to, honestly, it's like speaking out loud is horrendous. Like for me, it used to be a nightmare. It's like it gives me like anxiety from back at school when we used to have to read out loud. See, I've got dyslexia, but it's never been diagnosed. Well, at school they went to diagnose it and they just asked me some spellings. But they asked me spellings I knew, so it was like, yeah,
yeah,
you haven't got dyslexia. I'm thinking, well, and then I keep doing things, and when you just so my boss, he kind of understands that world as well, and he's like, I think you may have something, Georgina. So I've done an online test. I haven't done a proper assessment, but I've done the online different ones, and it has come back that I have got mild dyslexia. So speaking out loud, it just makes me nervous, or just talking. I end up saying random words that
yeah.
mean nothing to no one, but they just come out.
Well, I'm a fellow dyslexic
I
anyway,
know
and
you are,
it
yeah.
happens to me all the time. You know, what's the flavour of your dog? You know, you just kind of, um, yeah, I
You just
totally
don't
relate
even
to that.
know. So that's always played on my mind is that. So when I speak out loud, I'm a lot better now because like people just know me now. So it's who I speak to, so they understand me. So that's kind of out of my comfort zone to start with. So when I started doing things like um, I got asked to speak at the Chartered Institute of Housing because I used to work in housing, and that was one of the big times I've ever spoke about myself in front of a group of people I didn't know. That was really nervous, but I did it. And then my boss is like my mentor as well. He's fantastic. He got me speaking at IRMS,
Nice.
and I did that, and I was speaking about something that I knew and I was really passionate about, and that I did it and I loved it. I was like, can we do the next one? Still get nervous, but not as much. But as long as I'm speaking about something I love, I'm passionate about, I'm okay.
And that's the whole thing of public speaking. It's confidence and talk about the things that you're passionate about, and
Yeah,
it brings your whole natural body language. It brings your passion and excitement through it. So
yeah,
that's a fundamental reason. So that's
yes. I
amazing.
think finding
Um,
that confidence has helped me
yeah.
do all the other things as well. I spoke to yourself anyway last year at that, well, this year at IRMS about public speaking a little bit. we were talking about making like a story and different
Yeah,
things. I always keep all that in my head as well. When I do things, especially when I'm presenting at work and stuff.
amazing,
So yeah,
amazing.
thanks.
That's all right. And I did do a blog on the framework on
You
LinkedIn
did,
as well, so
you did,
that's a
yeah.
really good framework as well to
It's
use.
really
But
good, yeah, really good.
yeah, and I always advocate stories because stories connect
Hmm.
human emotions. So yeah,
Well, it does,
beautiful.
yeah.
I'm
It
glad
makes it
that.
easier. It makes it easier as well. It connects to emotions, but also makes it easier for you to tell what you're wanting to say because you have that beginning, middle, end kind of thing, and the flow just it all works. It's all perfect.
Yeah, beautiful. I'll share it on LinkedIn as well. And I've seen something coming up that somebody recommended, and it's like the adventures of something of that breaks down the stories and how.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like comfort zone. So you need somebody with you to help you push yourself outside your comfort zone. Obviously, you said about your husband,
Yeah.
and then it takes you all on the journey through the story, and then sort of anxiety, and then it's like, oh, actually, I did that, and oh my God, I feel so much better, and now I'm a bigger person, and look what I've achieved. So it's such a good, and it's another storytelling framework, which I just thought was really good. So
Awesome. Yeah.
I'll
I
definitely
think
push
that.
that out for you. So I'm a real thing of talking about real things. See, it's another word that I got wrong there. I'm a real believer that we should learn from our mistakes. So one of the big things is I call them magic mistakes because I always look at them at growth opportunities. Because actually, if you hadn't made the mistake, you wouldn't have learned from it and you wouldn't have grown. So, what's one of the biggest mistakes that you have had in your career that you can identify and share with us?
I, I don't want to say the mistake, but it's things I haven't done which I wish I had
Yeah,
done. Um, like standing up for what I know is right. But I think that relates to confidence as well,
yeah,
and not having that confidence at that time. To be able to stand in front of because they were senior level at it was a pre an old job. They were senior level, and I knew what we needed to do. I told them what we needed to do. He came in and went, no, just get rid of it all.
mm,
I knew that was wrong, and I I couldn't do anything else because he was the big boss. It was like one of the big
yeah,
bosses is like need to do this. But I'm thinking, actually, no, that is incorrect. So what I've learned from that is I can't always make people do what we say as data protection officers. We can advise them. So what I learned from that is actually I do know what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do from now on is I'm going to send emails to people with my current stance. So that's all documents. So my current stance is that you are not to do this. I would advise you to do this, this, and this for these reasons, and explain why. So that is something I always do now. So if anyone comes back, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. But it's learning that even though they are that level, they still need to listen. They're
yeah,
still human. They're still part of the organisation. The rules still apply to them. Just because they're managers doesn't mean everything doesn't apply. They can't just say we're doing this when there's actually a valid reason not to do that. So I did learn from that, and I did have another meeting with other people at a similar level on the same topic. Just it's a different section of the topic. It was record management.
mm,
Sorting out some documents, and they actually listened. So I actually sat there and I actually explained, and they were saying, can we do this? And I went, well, actually, no, not really, because, and give them an explanation.
yeah,
But I think and they listened to it and they understood and they did it. I don't, I don't think I could have done much else with that other person. I think that was just his demeanour, his way of being who he was, old school. And these actually were more open to actually, if I just said no,
yeah,
I don't think he would have listened. But explaining why. So why is a big thing now. I
yeah,
always do why. Um, they listened. So it wasn't, I don't think it was a mistake, but it was a learning for me
learning from.
to to follow up to follow up on things and to explain why. So I was quite new into the whole data protection record management world at that time. It was quite very, very new to me, that level I was at anyway. So that it kind of helped me on my learning journey to be how I am a data protection officer today, is not just tell people what to do. Explain why you want to do something. You get a lot more outcome than explain why. I said it wasn't a mistake, but it was something I think that I've learned. What kind of reasons? I don't know.
Yeah.
Mistake? Not actually backing it up a bit more, I think, at that time, and not doing. I couldn't have known. I didn't know then.
You didn't know what you knew now, and that's kind of the magic of it, isn't it? It's kind of the magic of it, really. And some of the.
Sorry, yeah.
That's all right. That was me. I think I interrupted you there. But some of it is around what I hear you're describing is the communication aspect. So you're new to the role, and that's that soft skills, or I call them essential skills. That actually people within our industry and new into our industry need those skills, because as a data protection officer and information manager, you do need to negotiate and you do need to communicate with different levels. And I think what you're describing is really valuable, because you're describing two sets of different people that you're communicating to and talking to. Now, my question to you from that is that, do you feel like you adapted the way you explained it from the senior level to the other people?
I do. I always change how I'm speaking to people. I think sometimes you need to. But I also think that no matter how I spoke to the other person, I was always junior staff to that person. So I don't think no matter how I would have said it, I would have had to probably get someone else more their level or higher to give the message. And
yeah, and that can be a challenge in itself, can't it? And I was just.
But I do change to my audience where possible. I like to try and keep things a lot plain English. That's a big thing I do. I always try and change, even documents I do now, I try and make them plain English so everyone understands.
Beautiful. With pictures, policy on a page. We've got policy on a page?
No, but I'd love to do that. I don't think they would take that. They've just started taking my normal English.
Okay, well that's a good step. So next week. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's one tick. So because my current employment, it's amazing, but there's quite a lot of academics within the organisation. So getting the win to plain English is great.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's change management as well, isn't it? You're making changes within the organisation, so it's another thing you've got to come over. So
I hate legal jargony stuff.
Oh yeah, I don't understand it. I'm just like, talk to me simply. You know, I'm from Essex.
So yeah, sorry, I don't think the mistakes I've made, but there's a lot of things that I would have changed. Just little things. Yeah, exactly. Just making sure I stand up for myself when I know things are correct. Don't be put off by things. If you don't know something, say you don't know it. I've had people ask me questions, and now I know to say, well, actually, I don't know everything. I'm never going to know everything on the top of my head, but I'll get it back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to them with the answer is going to give you more authority than trying to blag your way through something.
Exactly. So now if I'm on a call and people ask me questions about something, I will just say it right. Yeah, great. I'm going to stop you there. I don't know the answer right now. I will have to go and look at that for you, but I'll send it over by the end of the day.
Beautiful.
They love that. And then it's in writing, in the email, so they can come back to it when they want it. And it's just remembering, that you don't know everything. So obviously when you start a new job, you want to know everything, don't you? And you think you know everything, and you've just learned a whole new course. Like, yes, I know it all. And it's like someone comes and asks you a question. Actually, I don't know that. Can't remember that.
Yeah, and it's like this whole thing of imposter syndrome. So I always think everyone's got imposter syndrome, right?
I have
Well,
imposter syndrome all the time.
yeah, but imposter syndrome is on like a scale, right? So if you look at it as a set of stairs, there's somebody that's always going to be better than you. So there's somebody always going to be better in your profession than you. There's somebody who's going to be better in business than you. There's going to be somebody
Yeah,
always that's got more money. And even if you move up the stairs to
someone.
more money, to higher profession, there's still going to be people above you. So there's an element of like just grow yourself, keep moving, and enjoy the
Yeah,
ride.
yeah, exactly. Every day is a learning day. Like, I I knew data protection for my old industry, but then I changed industries to a total new, and it's had to learn new parts of data protection and record management that I didn't know previously. But I also now need to look at different legislations because we deal with global, so that's a whole new
Whole new ball
ball
game.
game.
A whole new ball game.
Put them all together as well. Oh,
Yeah.
it's fun though. But
But,
yeah, as you said, people will know that, but I don't, and I will admit that when I don't know something, I'll just say I don't know it. I will find out though for you,
yeah,
and I'll come
absolutely.
back with an answer. So it's just learning. I think you said it's like magic, isn't it? I wouldn't say them huge mistakes that if I have made a mistake, if anyone's listening to this and I have made a mistake, I'm sorry. I can't remember it. I would have learned from it and would have
Yeah,
changed the way I do things and move on.
there you go. And
Um,
you'll never make the same mistake again.
exactly. I obviously haven't because I can't remember.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Have you ever felt undervalued in your
all
role?
the time. All the time. I just think it's because people don't sometimes appreciate what, as a data protection officer, we actually are there for or what we actually do. I wear quite a lot of different hats as well at work 'cause we are a very small organisation. So I don't just do data protection, I do internal audits, record management, but I've also helped gain ISO 27001 certification,
Nice.
wrote policies and procedures, wrote gender equality plan, helping with a new EU grant project we're currently ongoing, we're putting people into there, just helping random things as well. So like just business questions people have, they're like, oh, Georgina, do you know this? Can you have a look at this? And looking at legal forms and documents to try and decipher what they mean. And so it's, even though I do all that, sometimes I feel like the data protection side doesn't isn't valued as much
Mm,
until something happens, and then they're like, oh, speak to Georgina. Oh, Georgina, this has happened. Oh,
yeah.
this, and I'm like, actually, you're all right. And then, so then I remember that, and I look back, and I think, actually, I have done all this,
Yeah.
and this they've been able to do these things because of what I've done. So actually, I am I mean, not be sure that I'm valued all the time, but I have made a valuable contribution to that.
Yep.
So it must mean that I'm valuable
Well,
somewhere.
I would definitely say you're valuable. Information is everything, so
I
we've got to
know.
look after it.
So
Um,
even though I don't think they say it, my boss does. He's fantastic. He's just amazing. Yeah, I think that a lot more organisations should show their appreciation more to data protection officers and other people that work within this sector.
yeah, and I'm going to put you on the spot here and ask you
Go on.
how you think they could do that.
Spice, just say thank you.
So
Say
simple.
thanks. Thanks. Thank you, Georgina. How's it going today? Have you got anything else you're doing or what's on your plate? Just a chat. We're not the police. I've said this loads of times. I've said this at conferences. Data protection officers, anyone who works in privacy or record management, anything like that. We're not the police. We're not there to try and like trip you over. We're trying to help
Yeah.
protect you as well as the patients. Well, in my industry, it's
Yeah.
patients, but because like the public, we we don't want to make any damages or anything to the organisation or company we work for. We want to protect everyone.
Yeah, and we just want to say get a thank you for that. So I think
Yeah.
You know, it's free, it's simple, and it just makes us feel wonderful at the end of the day. So.
Exactly, yeah.
I could chat to you all day, but I now want to say thank you for
Thank
participating
you.
in.
I don't know if I've answered all your questions. I think I've just rambled.
No, I've actually, you've been absolutely fine. You've answered all my questions and we've done wonderful. So, all is good. So, I want to thank you so much for your time
Thank
today.
you.
Um,
I've had a
and
great
if
time. Thank you.
And if you want to know any more, please head over to the leadershipthroughdata.com website, where we can help you with any essential skills or any data protection information management training. So, but that's it for me today at the Journals of the Information Entrepreneur, and stay tuned for our upcoming ones on more around the life of the data protection officer. Thank you so much, Georgina. It's been an
Thank you
absolute pleasure.
very much. Thank you.